Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wytpod. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Alliances at Wytlabs. We are a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce SEO. Now, I've got Kurt Dunphy with me today as the Director of Growth at Spellbook, a brilliant AI Copilot for lawyers. A big welcome to you, Kurt. So happy to have you with me today.
Thanks for having me on.
Great. Now, Kurt, I would love to start with talking about your journey, how exactly you ended up at Spellwork and how your typical day looks like here.
Yeah, sure. Before I was at Spellbook, I was working for a chain of retirement homes. So we were selling beds for seniors and I was there for a few years. I joined Spellbook about 4 years ago when it was Rally, which is a whole other product. We pivoted pretty hard about 2 years ago to AI and it helped us grow pretty aggressively. Yeah, my journey started, I started in finance in college and then went to be a solopreneur doing agency work with very little experience, but learning on the job on like building sites, doing ads, doing the whole gamut of marketing, which has been helpful because for the longest time, Spellbook and Rally, I was a one-man marketing team. We've since built it out to three more people. And now, yeah, I run marketing at Spellbook and we grow leads. Marketing team grows leads and we're pretty much solely focused on revenue.
That's brilliant. I would love to understand like what specific strategies really helped you basically scale Spellwork from zero to more than 2K customers now, and any specific challenges that would like to point out and how exactly do you overcome those?
We're up to about 2,600 now clients on Spellbook. We're one of the fastest growing products in law. Okay, this isn't a plug. I'm not trying to plug your audience. Yeah, the strategy we've done. So I think the biggest, highest level thing is just we've been super focused on lead gen and driving revenue. So everything we've done, we've tied it back to the actual performance of things with our attribution, which has been the biggest thing. We haven't really focused on like brand building or other things. It's been purely lead gen into driving sales and then tying that back. And if campaigns or strategies don't work, we just kill them if they're not driving revenue. We experimented a lot when we started out. So we tried pretty much everything, like organic. We try pretty much everything except for direct mail, which is still it's not off the table. We might do some postcards and flyers. But the biggest thing for us was we got into some paid media that worked. We scaled it up and then we tightened up the funnel so that we had folks coming in as a lead and then getting right passed over to sales, which drove up our conversion rate and then moving into a fast sale time.
Okay. And can you walk us through your approach to basically developing and executing a growth strategy, specifically for a tech company like when you're dish legal?
Yeah, I'm a pretty big numbers guy. I started off in finance. So I started off in finance. I didn't really believe in advertising. I didn't think it worked. And so everything I've done, I've tied it back to attribution. So we experiment a lot. Like when we started with Spellbook, we were experimenting everything from like organic social, organic search, Reddit posts, everything you can do digital marketing, we tried. And then we tied it back to what worked and then basically just killed anything that wasn't driving leads into meetings, into sales. So it was a big thing was experimenting. And we tried like, I can't give all the secret sauce away, but we tried like weird places that you wouldn't think lawyers were. And they were. And I guess like the secret sauce isn't super relevant for the audience, but it's just we tried weird stuff in weird places and places our investors were like, why should you be there? Should you be spending this much advertising dollar in these places? And that was part of the experimentation. We just trying different stuff. I think when we launched Spellbook, we tried like 10 to 15 channels. I was looking at our experimentation board yesterday, actually.
Okay. And how long do you run the experiments? Like, what's the typical duration and how many data points or sample size you would need to make a decision whether to keep running it or to stop it?
It's a good question. I don't have a great answer for this. I was talking to a founder of a small company yesterday and they're asking me the same thing. And I don't have, okay, spend $2,000 and you'll know. You get a feeling when you're doing it a lot. So if you try 10 places and you go in there for 2 weeks, you have it's hard to stay because everything's different, right? Small company's going to need a lot more leads if they're selling $30 a month versus an enterprise who might need one if they go to a conference. But when you do it enough and you experiment enough and you try enough things and you record the process and you feel how bad it feels when things don't work, you get a good feeling for what does work. And out of 10, usually one kind of works. And you'll see 4 to 5 times the results on that one. And it'll be easier and leads will come easier. And like it won't feel as gut wrenching because everything's not failing. Like it's just a feeling. I've never really found a hard set number, but like generally I'll run an experiment on a platform and give it an honest shot for 2 weeks. And if it sometimes four, and if it doesn't work, I'll move something else. I don't know if that's short or like when you ask this question, do people give it longer lives or is that like short?
Sorry?
Is that like a short life cycle? Like when you ask this question, do other people say 2 months or is 2 weeks normal?
I mean, it depends, on the channel. It also depends how much you as an organization feel like could be a good enough sample size altogether. 1,000 people you have reached down, or like maybe 2,000 or 5,000. Depends a lot also on the industry as well. Like in a
Yeah.
B2B space, you would need much more frequency. And also in a small target sample should be fine. Right? But in a B2C, I mean, that's way too broad. So yeah, multiple things.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. It's multiple things.
All right. All right. And if you have to rank, say, your top three channels for lead generation, what would those be?
Probably search, the Meta Suite, and Bing, probably. Bing is so good and cheap, but the volume is so wildly low. It's so low that we've never been able to increase it, but it does work while at a wildly good cost.
All right. I would love to understand. I'm going to be a little bit biased and ask you, like, how exactly SEO is working out for you? Any specific SEO strategies that have been like most effective in scaling your SEO presence altogether?
Yeah. We were talking before the call, like our SEO is not, it's still a new strategy. We haven't really like completely cracked it and figured out the playbook. I'd say for us, a lot of what we've done is brand searches. So we've driven that through advertising. And then we show up anytime there's a brand search, our site like lights up like a Christmas tree. We've got like technical SEO done pretty well on the main site. So if you look up, actually, we haven't done pretty well. If you look up Spellbook, we actually come up over like Magic the Gathering stuff, which took us a while because initially when we launched, if you looked up Spellbook, you would get, I don't know if Magic the Gathering is like the card game, you
Yeah.
would get like magical related things. And we never came up. It was like infuriating. We had to advertise on our main brand. Now we've come up in the rankings. So we beat Magic the Gathering a lot. That was a big win for us, which was just technical SEO and getting backlinks and looking a little more legit. We are doing a lot more. We're doing more blog posting. We're just getting involved a little more with that. But so far, it's been just driving it from like a pushing perspective through advertising.
Gotcha. And how exactly are you measuring basically your effectiveness of both SEO as well as your paid Google ads? Any specific tools that you specifically rely on?
Oh yeah, we track everything in HubSpot.
Okay.
We had a team, a really good team called Big Time Data set up our data tracking in Metabase. Shout out to them. They're really good. So we track everything from every single campaign. We go over it weekly on mostly, we go over like leads, meetings booked, sales driven on a weekly basis. And we go through which source is driving each of that. Or yeah, SEO is a little tougher because we would have to attribute some cost back to that. That's not necessarily like advertising costs.
Yeah.
But a lot of that we do attribute to advertising because we get like our biggest thing is like brand searching. But yeah, we're checking every week. We're analyzing every single thing we do on HubSpot with the dashboards there, and then a little bit on Metabase. But the HubSpot dashboards are fantastic. If you get your UTMs right, which I've gotten them wrong in the past more than once, but I've learned my lesson. They're
That's
better.
true. All right. Right. And I would love to know basically any specific trend that is emerging in your legal tech that you think is going to have one of the biggest impact on the marketing or even SEO in the near future for you.
Yeah. So the funny that you asked this because we actually just launched it today. Again, I'm not like trying to plug your audience here. I don't think they're probably we have different audiences, but it's this agents thing. So right now, like the biggest thing for the last couple of years was obviously ChatGPT and this generally generative AI,
Mhm.
which was like the biggest search thing ever. I think OpenAI is like the fastest growing company that's ever lived in modern day. But now I think, yeah, I can never know. But I think the next big thing is going to be like agentic AI. And just a quick summary. If you compare it, so ChatGPT and like just generative AI and like any of them, right? Like Perplexity, Anthropic, any of them are basically you're living in a chat window and you're asking it questions and it's telling you answers. And then you have to like, if you wanted to write a blog post, I'm sure you've used this for blog posts or for other things. You take that, you put it where it has to go. It's okay. It's great. The output is wildly faster than anything we've seen, and it's pretty accurate. But the problem is you're jumping between documents, and it's hard to actually get tasks done. So with Agentic, it's going to be able to run programs. So it's you can set up automated things like you get an email, it comes back, you then fix documents, you update it, it sends a draft or gets a draft email ready to send to your client. It can just jump between programs. So you break out of that chat window and you can go between a lot of different things. And if you Google Trends this, so if you Google Trend like generative AI or ChatGPT, you can see when it spiked. You can actually see now, I've been looking every day since we launched Agent, is go and look up Agent AI, and you're going to see a massive spike within the last month or two. It's starting to spike. So it's starting to get up there. I think that's going to be the next big thing. If I was going to put my money on it, it would be that. And so like the 1-2 punch we've seen for SEO with this is when we launched, so we were the first generative AI company for law. And when we launched it, there was basically no SEO because you're not, this probably way better than I do. You're not searching for stuff that you
Yeah.
don't know. If it's a new product, if it's a new category, you're not searching for it. So we did a lot of push advertising for our category or our segment. And when we did that push advertising, what we could see was search followed it like 6 months, maybe 3 months behind. So
Yeah.
then we pushed that and we captured it on search. I think because you're asking like SEO strategy, I think that'll probably be the SEO strategy again. Is you push it for your niche or your market, and then you capture it on the back end. But you got to push because it takes a while. Man, it takes a while for that to actually catch on in Google search.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that the SEO is like beautiful, and I've had some success in the past, like to generate like hundreds of thousands of impressions. But it works. It's hard in like a new and emerging category before people get educated for it.
Yeah.
But if you're the first one in there, you're just going to crush. If Agent takes off, yeah, we were the first one for Gen AI for law. And by the time everything caught up, we had so many pages and posts.
Yeah, I'm sure lots more benefits gonna be there for sure. And I would love to know, Kurt, how exactly the process work for the new content generation within your organization or a content refresh process. What are the things, what are the steps that you follow?
For what type of content?
It could be any sort, could be offering page, could be a comparison page, could be a new blog article or anything.
We don't have the best process right now. Like there's a small team.
Okay.
So if we want to set up a new landing page, most of us can work in we use Webflow. So you can go in, you launch something. We'll do copy edits between the team on like Google Doc. A lot of times for new ads, we'll like rapid fire stuff and then just go into Figma. And between 2, 3 of us, we'll just build things as fast as humanly possible. And we'll throw up like we did this for this campaign we just launched. And it's not like the perfect best strategy, and probably bigger companies, they would like cringe at me,
Yeah.
but we just try to build as many things as fast as possible and then see what works. And then just honestly, the best thing is just like putting it live and testing it. Because it's
Yeah.
hard to know what's going to work until you actually get it out there. But
Yeah.
we'll jam on Figma a lot. We'll jam on Google Docs for headlines and copy and that kind of stuff. building a better process now because eventually as it scales, again, it's not just me. It doesn't really make sense. But yeah, we try to get everyone in Figma and not break it apart by silos. Oh, this is your job. This is my job. And we look at it. We all just get in there and try stuff. And whoever's the best at design will tweak the other people's work to make it look good if that's what we go with.
Yeah, gotcha. All right. What are some of the most common misconceptions about marketing in legal industry that you have encountered?
About marketing in the
Yeah.
legal industry?
Yep.
That we don't care about driving revenue, I think. That like we're all about brand impressions. I think it's a pretty big conception overall that marketing is it's about brand building and stuff. And I can't think of any big ones to be honest with you.
Okay.
I can't think of it. Like lawyers don't spend a lot of time thinking about marketing, I think. They don't like it that I bombard them with ads, I think.
Let's talk about legal SaaS, something much more specific to your company. What are there any misconceptions that you feel that your competitors have when it comes to their marketing? I'm sure you're part of multiple conferences and all. Anything that you picked?
Yeah, you know what? Biggest probably misconception is that the marketing has to be boring and business-like and it has to reach customers in business avenues. I'd say that's the biggest one. Like you hear a lot people say, well, we have to reach them where they make business decisions on LinkedIn and the content should be very business-esque and it should show all the value props and it should be like professional, ready to print. And some of the best results I've had is like just going into not business like business kind of places, coming up with like really conversational tone advertising, showing one interesting thing and not making your ad look like a brochure. This might be like, I'm not trying to call any of our competitors out, but it might be like a B2B SaaS thing. It's definitely in legal tech. B2B SaaS is pretty buttoned up. And when you go into like legal tech, it's like even more button up. It's because you're selling to lawyers and you don't want to make your product look like a, I don't know how to say this kindly, just you don't want to make it look like a bad tool that no one wants to invest in. You want to look professional and really you're just extra buttoned up. You got a suit on top of your shirt in the advertising space in legal tech. And it's like a lot of it doesn't work because I've tried it. I know for a fact it doesn't work that well. And I've talked to people and I know it's not driving a ton of leads and it's not driving a ton of meetings because like when you see a brochure, when you're like scrolling through, honestly, even when you're scrolling through LinkedIn, because a lot of people are using LinkedIn in the evening, on the weekend, they're using it to break up their time, get away from work. They're not like scrolling it. Yeah, I'd love to read a brochure. I don't know about you, but have you ever scrolled LinkedIn, like a brochure looking ad and you're like, this is great. This is everything I need.
I'm not a big fan of LinkedIn, to be honest. All right.
Yeah.
Can you share good examples of any marketing or growth campaign that you or your team executed brilliantly and any specifics of what made it stand out? Something which is close to your heart.
Something was just close to my heart. One of the big things we did really was actually our legal tech conference. I don't know if there's photos, but there is on my LinkedIn. But it was pretty interesting. We went to two conferences right when generative AI was getting into law, and we just had a whole different vibe. Like our booth, if you look at our booth, it's wild. And people might say, I'm like, okay, so if you go to conference, it's like piggybacking on what I just said. You go to these legal tech conferences, it's very buttoned up. Everyone is basically a different shade of blue on their corporate brand. Every vendor's buttoned up. Everything is very rigid. And we came in with pink neon lighting blowing up our whole space. And it was really strange. And we were like, one of the first ones to put AI in all of our banners because Spellbook is just straight up an AI company. We're not like, we didn't take our old product and slap AI on it. Like it's an entirely new AI native product. And it was pretty wild. Like we were talking to other vendors and by the end of it, we were getting more leads and meetings booked a day than most vendors were getting for the whole conference. It was like a 3.5, 4 day conference. We stood out like a sore thumb or maybe like a good thumb because it worked, but it just stood out like crazy. We ran ads leading into it. We emailed all our customers. We did some press. We did we sponsored part of the event and we stood out because everything else was just very typical of B2B SaaS, to be fair. And I'm not like trying to rip on the industry. It was just very standard stuff, blue and gray and white. And the messaging was perfect and everything had long words and complicated, like simultaneously updating complex projects, very professional words that you didn't really get. And we were just like, our tagline was like draft 10 times faster with AI. And people were like, oh, okay, I get that.
Yeah. I think AI is most overused.
Yeah, it is now.
Yeah, it is now. I'm sure
It,
like 3-4 years back it was.
yeah, it is very abused now. And it's almost like impossible to use that word. People like are like, okay, here we go. And
Yeah.
it's just not working so well anymore. Yeah. A year or two ago, it was like very good.
Yeah. All right. Now looking back, what's one thing you wish you had known before starting your journey, your growth journey basically at Spellbook?
Yeah. Probably that I don't have to do it all myself. Like, I should have expanded the team faster and we could produce more. I spent years doing everything, like from web design to graphic design to videos to screen recordings for product demonstrations to running the ads to keyword search, everything. I could have built up a team and it probably scaled a little faster, to be honest. Probably I would have done that if I went back and hired a few contractors. Like we have a few now that are just like helping us scale everything from design to web to advertising. So I probably would have gone back and done a little bit more of that.
But you were used to of that setup of one man army in the previous. So,
Yeah.
yeah, don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like give a man like give a man a nail with a hammer, he uses a hammer. Give him anything else, he still uses a hammer. So I don't think it was probably not the most efficient thing,
Yeah.
but yeah.
All right, tell us about the new product launch, the new project that you've been working on.
Yeah. Agents for law. It's live now. Working on everything from ads to funnel to attribution. We went pretty big on social, which is cool. Like I would recommend any company that like is launching stuff, like just go big on social. We were just plastered there. We brought in a lot of leads today, a few hundred of our ICP just from the organic stuff because the whole team is starting to get bigger now. So when we do organic stuff, there's 50 of us that kind of like dog pile onto it. And then we share stuff and we got a bunch of press. We got ads rolling out probably end of the day, maybe tomorrow. New landing pages, new videos. It's a big endeavor. Yeah, need it when you launch a new product.
Yeah, good luck. Did you also run a campaign on Product Hunt?
Yeah, do you see it?
No, I did not. I'm asking you.
Oh, yeah. We should have it up there. I was hoping you saw it. It should be live today.
Okay.
We'll do that too. It's not like it's a good like checkbox for us, but it's not like we're ICP, our ideal customer profile. They don't really live there, but it is helpful. Yeah, we're trying to check off all the like proper product launch update, like check boxes, get your email out, get into press. A lot of it's going to be testing now. Like to really scale it, it's going to be like figuring out which advertising, which SEO tactics, which content really scales it. And then I honestly don't know yet what it'll be.
Okay. All right, good. We're coming to an end now. And now I would love to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
Okay. I'm ready.
Okay. What's your last Gen AI prompt?
Find a typo in this blog post.
Okay.
What was the typo?
What subject do you find to be most fascinating?
Right now, I've been looking up a lot of if aliens are real or not, trying to find an answer for that. My YouTube history is a mess.
I'm sure. All right. What's the most bizarre marketing tactic you've ever seen work successfully?
And I've seen postcards work, I've seen postcards like smash, which I thought was really weird because I thought postcards were over and I heard of people like putting them on their fridge and stuff, like just totally smash. Like the ROI was like 100 to 1.
Yeah.
And that was wild. I thought that the day of postcards was over.
All right. What's the weirdest place you have ever come up with a brilliant idea?
The weirdest place. The doctor's office, I think. I don't know if that's that might be a normal place. Like actually, it's not technically a doctor's office. It's like a walk-in clinic. Because we have I'm in a small province. We have a low doctor to person ratio, both in the walk-in clinic.
Okay. Now, my very last question. If you could use only one social media for the rest of your life, which would it be?
I like LinkedIn. I know we're disagreeing on this one. I don't know if you're a Twitter guy.
Fine, you like it.
I like LinkedIn. It's positive. There's a lot of interesting stuff. It seems to be getting better too. Like more, like less of the like flaunting stuff and more like really useful content. Like I saw someone posting on like Apple's history of ads today, and it was awesome. Like the work people are putting in on LinkedIn is good. I'm not like a Twitter guy myself. I don't know if you're on the Twitter club.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Kurt. Really appreciate you sharing your experiences about the company, some of your strategies, not really in depth, but yeah, at least.
We gotta keep some things secret. We got some secret sauce.
Yeah, but yeah, I really appreciate your time here with me. Thank you so much.
Hopefully it was helpful. No problem.